is any question which you have. Okay, so don't think like, okay, it is a small question, big question. Okay, anything like that. Don't think like that. You just try to post it. Okay, one of us as a team, we will try to respond it back. Okay, we will try to do the research, or we will just try to give the answer. If you already know right away, we will just try to answer that, okay, instead of wasting time in doing that. Or in other words, put it in a nice way, right? Let us not reinvent the wheel, okay, for our coding purposes. Okay, you can take it in a better way, or you can take in multiple ways that statement. But for this particular part, instead of just trying to figure out how to do that and all, right, so let us just try to post a question in the group. Okay, and then let us try to get the, if someone already knows the answer, they can immediately respond back. Okay, we need not wait. Everyone can find, but instead of 4 hours, you can just get it in 5 minutes. That is the difference which you can do that. Okay, so, and also, yeah, keep it that way, and then let us just try to pose the questions and let us get the things going. Okay, and as I mentioned, right, so it's a chief architect for our the whole entire process, Sri. Okay, you can just see the name as Sri there, but we call him as Sri. Okay, so he is going to drive further from now. Okay. Sri is all yours now.
Hello everyone. Okay, this project basically you're going to use React.js for front-end purpose, MySQL for storing database, for storing records in the database, MySQL database we use, RDBMS. The next one is Django. It is Python Django. It's a web framework. Okay, so using these, we are going to develop this application. Okay, so today I'm going to show how to create a React.js application. Similarly, how to create a Python Django application. Okay, so I just show how to create them, but further you need to understand how internally they are going to work. Okay, question means suppose you are trying to learn something. At that time, if you don't get immediately answer, you cannot post like that. You need to try and you need to get it done. My expectation something like that. Suppose some command is not working. Okay, so you have to try and you have to get it done. That's very important. So here, React.js, MySQL, Python Django, you need to install them. React.js, that is some create React app. For that, Node.js is required. You need to install Node.js for that. Okay. Similarly, MySQL also you need to install. It's a community edition. You can download and you can install. MySQL community edition. Already links are shared with you, I think. Okay. You can download MySQL community edition and you can install. And you try to install 8 point some XX version. There's the latest version. You need to install that. Then Python Django. I mean, Python, you require some 3 plus 3 point some X, something like 3.6 or 3.7. Latest version of the Python is required. In the given link also, you have same thing. So you need to download Python and you need to install. Okay. So Python, first of all, 3.x is required. On top of that, you are going to install Python Django. So you are going to work with these things: React.js, MySQL, and other thing is Python Django. The core language is Python. On top of that, we have a web framework called Django. So using Django, we develop our web application. Okay, there are many you can say web APIs for developing applications, web frameworks, I can say, like Flask, Django, Tornado, Falcon. There are so many. But we use Django because all the features available for developing web applications in the Django. Okay, it is called as fully loaded. It's called as fully loaded. And this is going to be a full stack application. You have to work like a soldier who has knowledge of actually using Swiss Army knife. That means all the tools which are required you have in the tool. So soldier, for soldier, whatever tools are required, all the tools are available within the given Swiss Army knife. In the same manner, you have to be working with front end, you need to work with back end, and you need to work with the back end means database as well as application development. On all the three, you need to work. Along with that, you need to know about the security concepts. Okay. Also, you need to perform unit testing. React.js, you need to develop application. For that, you require knowledge of JavaScript. Okay, you have to know JavaScript. Without knowing JavaScript, you cannot do. Okay, also if you know TypeScript, that would be good, but it's not mandatory. So without using TypeScript also, you can develop React.js applications. It's for front end. Okay, so MySQL, you need to know SQL commands. Okay, SQL commands you need to know SQL commands. Also, how to write like all CRUD operations you perform. We have different types of SQL commands: DDL, then DML, DCL, TCL. Okay, one more thing is, these four are very important. Other one is DRL or DQL. DDL basically to define the database objects. Okay, as we know, table is a database object, index is a database object, view is a database object. Even you may write a stored procedure, there's a database object. You may write a function, that is also nothing but a database object. Okay, even constraints can be database objects. So you have to know DDL. So data definition language. Mostly you have three commands in that: create, then alter, one more thing is drop. One extra command we have that's called as rename. So those four commands you should be using fluently. Okay, so using them, you create table, you alter table. Similarly, you create a stored procedure. Okay, you can create a stored function. For all of them, you can use DDL. Similarly, DML knowledge is required. Okay, DML is nothing but data manipulation language, insertion, updation, as well as deletion. So you use DML commands. So using DML, you are going to do those things. Similarly, like DCL and TCL, you can leave time being. DRL or DQL, they are nothing but select commands. Okay, you have to be proficient with those: DDL, DML, DRL, and DQL. Okay, so you create tables. Then after that, you create stored functions and stored procedures. With the help of that, you access the data. Okay, so these stored functions or stored procedures you are going to use in the Python code. Okay, in the Python side, data access layer you have. With the help of that, you are going to access the data. Fine. So this is for MySQL. And for React.js, you need to install Node.js. You have to be proficient with the JavaScript for that purpose. Like how to create functions, how to create arrow functions. Okay, what are modules in that? So we have certain videos in our channel. You need to go through them. You need to understand and you need to use those concepts in the React.js. And what are needed for React.js we cover, like JSX, how to write actually, how to use JSX for developing React applications. We cover that. Okay. Similarly, Python, you need to have idea of Python language, core Python language. You should have idea. Okay. Then you will use actually Django. On top of Python, we are going to use Django. And similarly, here we use MySQL connector for getting connected to MySQL database from the Python environment. Okay, so you have to be good with the Python language. You have to know about the JavaScript. We cover React.js. You have to know MySQL. Okay, how to write, how to create various types of database objects, particularly tables and stored procedures. Okay, then Python language, you have to know core language. Then on top of that, we are going to work with the Python Django. Okay, also you need to unit test in Python using Python unit test. And one more concept is dark test. Unit testing is very important. These days, developers must implement actually unit test cases. Okay, it's not testing. Testing is a different scenario that is again, but this is a unit testing. Developers, they are going to test. So you should know how to write unit test cases. Okay, then in the React.js also you need to unit test. So for that purpose, just there is one test framework. Just you have, with the help of that, you can write the React.js test cases. The purpose of this exercise is basically going to enable you, empower you, and enrich you I mean, in developing actually full stack applications, not simply creating some kind of application. Our idea behind this is we want to make you to some extent perfect in making actually the full stack application. So further, definitely you have to work hard. You have to learn few things on your own. Okay. So if you learn by struggling, then only you appreciate, you understand. Suppose you try to work on something. If you don't get answer, if you mail, there is no point in that. After trying for some time, if you don't get, then in that case we may help. But straight away, so you try one time, then if you ask, I'm not getting it, so that's not acceptable. Okay. So you have to work hard, then you should be building this application. That is my approach basically. Okay. So our intention basically to make you, because there is I mean a lot of requirement these days for full stack development. Pooja knows well about all these things. Okay. So you have to be I mean after this particular project, you should be independently developing a full stack application using React.js. You should using MySQL or some other database. It can be like PostgreSQL or SQLite. Similarly, Python, Django. So this exercise is meant for that. Okay. So now I show you how to create a React.js application first of all. So for that purpose, very first thing is we need to install Node. You need to install Node.js. Okay. So for installing Node.js, you can go to like I'll show here. Okay, you can download Node.js for Windows. Okay, latest version something like 20.0, I think. So you need to download via package manager. Installer. Okay, so you can download this Node.js version 20.13.1. This you can install in your system. So if you install, then only you can create React application. Okay, so this is the link. You can use this link. With the help of this link, you can download. It is for Node.js. So I'm just sharing in the chart window. You can copy this and you can install the Node.js. Okay, so once you install Node.js, in my system, it is available now. If I go to some G drive, if I type here Node followed by version, it is showing version 18.19.0. So this current version in my system is 18 version, but you can download latest version. It is 20 point some XX. Okay, you have to download this Node.js. Without Node.js, we cannot develop actually React application. So Node.js is for, packaging and for deploying the React application we use. Okay, for creating, packaging and for deploying, we use Node.js. Now I want to create here some React application. Okay, for that already I have installed Node.js. Then one more app is, the other app, what I have actually is like create React app. Okay, this one also you need to, install. For installing that, you have to give a command, since already that is installed in my system. Okay, some prompt it is in a particular drive you can install, or globally you can install. In the G drive, what I do, npm node package manager install followed by create -react -app. So once that is installed, you can create a React application.
నాకు ఒక కంప్యూటర్ క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ అయింది. 3 వారాలు ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్ అసైన్ చేశారు. అదే ఎలా చేయాలి?
So this is you need to install create React app. Once that is installed in your system, you can create a React application. Okay. For this purpose, I create here now
ఇప్పుడు చెప్తే చేస్తాం, ఎందుకంటే ఇదంతా ప్రాబ్లం చాలా బాగా సాల్వ్ చేయాల్సిన ప్రాబ్లం. కానీ అన్ని చెప్పుకోడు, సరిగ్గా సమాధానం చెప్పడు. ఏదన్నా గట్టిగా అందాం అనుకుంటే అరుపుతారు. అది ప్రాబ్లం. అది ప్రాబ్లం మెయిన్.
అనిరుద్ గారు మీది దాని వాయిస్ వస్తుంది. కెన్ యూ ప్లీజ్ పుట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద మ్యూట్?
అవును.
Okay, so with those names already,
I think,
there was a directory existing.
sorry to disturb. I think name with Anirudh, it has to be muted. Okay. I think we are able to hear the other conversation in this. Okay. Please mute.
వేడి చేయమని
So,
కొంచెం.
you need to install the create React app. Once that
Right.
is installed, you need to create actually React application. So for that purpose, npx here create React app followed by some application name you need to give here. My first. Command what we use is here npx. Along with npm, the npx is available automatically when you install Node package manage Node. Automatically npm and npx commands are available. From command prompt, you can execute them. So npx create React app followed by my first. My application name here it is my first. So it takes some time, then it creates depending on the speed of your system. Okay, this is the command. With the help of that, we create the React application. So after installing, create React app, you can create your application. So using npx create -react app followed by application name. Okay, now that is created. Okay, so it is available now in a different folder that gets created. If you see, my first is the folder name. In that we have the React application created. It has certain predefined folder structure. Node modules, whatever JavaScript files are required, they are installed in that. Similarly, package.json, public folder, src folder, you have those. Now I can start running this application. Okay, so for that purpose, here I can type npm start. So what is happening now? React application is created. It is going to be available on port number 3000. Okay, a skeleton application is created for us. Now, as per our requirement, we need to modify. Now, React application is running for us. You can see here, React application. When you run at the command prompt, like npm followed by start, automatically the website also got launched here. Okay, it got compiled and it has created for us the binaries. Okay, it has built actually application. So now it is available using port number 3000, you can access. Since I'm running in the local computer, it is local host. But when you deploy, definitely you need to have a domain name. With domain name, normally we deploy the web applications. So localhost 3000, here now you have the React application working on port number 3000. Now it is available. You can see here in the browser, when you type localhost 3000, it is available. Okay, so it has now successfully compiled, and other thing is what it is even launched successfully, and you can see here. So this is the basic part of creating React application. But this we don't require. You need to modify this, and you need to make as per our requirement. So the Create React app has created automatically certain things for us. But as per our requirement now, we need to modify. Okay, so this is what creation of the React application. So using Create React app, we have done it. If I say Control C, it comes to end. Okay, now you can see here earlier what command I gave. This is the command. With the help of that, I could create here React application. So application name is what here? My first. Okay, it is actually my first application name. I am creating that in the another folder called React apps. Okay, by giving a command here npx create React app followed by my first. So this is created now. A folder is created, my first. In that you have the React application. Okay, so next thing I show you how to create a Django application. Just this is an introduction actually today. Okay, in the next session we work with the first application side, then database side. After that we come to the front end. Okay, but you have to spend some time and you need to understand what exactly React.js is. There are so many videos available. You can go through them. You can understand. We can help you in building the web application. Okay, so next thing is now I want to create here. This is what a React application we created. There can be number of actually here pages. We are going to put number of pages here like contact page, home page, admin side of thing. So everything we are going to have in that. But this basic thing we created using here create React app. Okay, skeleton is created for us. Now as per our requirement, we need to modify. So this is what React application. Okay, so once again here see to create this application. Okay, to create this application, I have used a command called create React app followed by application name. But before that, you need to install first of all this create React app. It is actually a node module. So using npm install create React app, you can install that. Since already that is installed in my system, okay, there is no point in once again installing. So this is the command. With the help of that, you can install create React app. It's actually some module in the node. With the help of that, you can create a React application. So first you need to install node, then you need to install this particular tool. Okay, then after that using npx. npm is node package manager. Okay, other command is what here? npx, node package extension. So with the help of that, here you can create the React application. So this is for installing create React app module. And to use that, you require npx command. npx create React app followed by some application name. Some name, whatever name you want to give, you can give there. Okay, so it's going to create the React application. So once that is created, you can go to command prompt. From there, you can run it. So here, how I run once again, see, it is npm followed by start. Okay, so now it is running here. This application is running. Once again, it launched and we are seeing it in the browser. Okay, suppose you want to do unit testing. Here, I type npm followed by test. So this is going to show some test cases. So test failures, test source one pass and one total, test one pass, one total. There are no failures in this case. Okay, so there is a inbuilt mechanism for unit testing as well. We performed here unit testing. So using this command npm start with the help npm test, with the help of that, we could actually test the perform the unit testing. Okay, npm test. npm run is going to be launching this React application. With the help of the npm test, you can actually unit test the application. Okay, so this is about React.js. It's not everything. So just I gave you some introduction about how to create a React application, how to run it, and how to run the unit test. We are going to write unit test cases. We are going to create actually a number of pages in this. Okay, we are going to create routing in that. Everything we are going to do. We are going to install it and bootstrap in this. So we are going to do all those things in this. Okay, but I have just shown you how to create a React application, how to run that application, and how to unit test. So first thing is what? Create React app followed by application name. Second thing is running npm start. Third thing is what here? npm test. So we have used 3 different commands. First one to create React application. Second thing is to run the application. Third one is what? To unit test. Okay, so using them, I mean, you entered into React.js environment, but further you need to learn few things on your own. Okay, you can see, I mean, so many tutorials are available related to React.js. Just go through them, try to understand, try to use some of them. Further in the next session, we discuss more about the React.js part also. Also, we work with the Django. One more thing is MySQL. Now, next step, I'm going to create here some Django application. Okay, so here I come out from this folder. Then here it is MD Django apps. I want to create some folder. Then here CD Django apps. Okay, before I develop any application with the Django, I want to create here a virtual environment. It's called as VENV. Okay, so for that purpose, here I give a command Python -m VENV followed by, I want to give here some environment name. Okay, I want to say this as Django, like the REST apps. Now it's going to create here a virtual environment for us. CD, then followed by Django. Okay, REST apps. Now it has created a virtual environment. When you look at this, there is a folder structure for this. The folders are include lib, pyvenv.cfg, scripts. So after creating this virtual environment, I need to activate here. Without activating, you cannot install any Python libraries in this. Okay, so for that purpose, I just go into scripts folder, then here activate. Now this is activated. In the beginning, you can see this Django REST apps you have in the parentheses. Okay, then come back here. After that, install here. We install like this Python -m. Okay, then otherwise you can install this way, pip install followed by Django. So here Django framework is going to be getting installed. Pip is nothing but Python installer package. So it is going to be installing this Django web framework in this virtual environment. Okay, now it is available for us. Django is available for us now. It is installed. Now we have to create here a Django application. Okay, so here go with the Django followed by admin. Then you go with the start project command. Okay, my first. This name also I give my first. Now what happened? Let us see here. Any folder, is it created? My first is created. Now change into my first. Okay, so in this folder again, you have certain folder structure. There is manage.py, my first, then, so it has created some other folder. Now let me launch the Django application as well. So here Python, okay, -m, Python -m, manage.py, followed by here run server. So with this command, I can run run server. So Django application now it is available on port number 8000. You can copy this and you paste in the browser window. Now even Django application is running here. Okay, it is having this interface for us. Like the React application, here it has created certain skeleton for us. As per our requirement, we need to modify even this particular, structure of the application which was created automatically, which got created. So using here, what was the command I used it? Here command was like Django admin followed by, so here it is Django admin start project followed by project name. Whatever name you want to give, you can give. So it has created a my first project. Okay, so when I launch it, by default it runs in the port number 3000, and React.js it's going to be running in the port number 3000 by default. Okay, but if you go with the Django, it is available on port number 8000. When you work with Flask, it's going to be available on the 5000. By default, certain ports are actually allocated for them. But if you want to change the port, we can change it. We can change that particular port number. Normally, web applications, they run on port number 80, and one more is what? 443. If it is simple HTTP, they run on the port number 80. If it is HTTPS, they run on the port number 443. But this is local development. So we use here port number 8000. On top of that, this Django is actually available for us. So using port number 8000, we can access Django application. So using port number 3000, React application we can access. Both of them are actually local host. Here 127.0.0.1. Here also it's not local host is nothing but 127.0.1 that is. So both of them are actually 127.0.1. Okay, both of them are available. One is available on port number 3000, other one is available on port number 8000. Django is on 8000, whereas React.js is on port number 3000. Okay, so here this is a server side. What we created with the Django, it is actually server side, and this is here client side or front end. React.js is meant for front end, and Django is meant for actually back end purpose. Also, we require database, MySQL. So this is overall, I just gave an idea how to create a React application, how to create a Django application. Here I show you what commands I have used it. Okay, so these are the commands. With the help of that, you can create a Django application. First, you need to create a virtual environment. Okay, then followed by, you need to activate the virtual environment. After that, you need to install Django. Okay, then you can find even the which version of Django that is. I go here and try to find the version of the Django. Okay, so Control C. Here I type the command. It can give you the version. It is 5.0.6. Latest version of Django is 5.0.6. So with that we created. Okay, the next thing is we create a project using Django admin, start project followed by project name. Angular brackets are not required. Okay, so it can be any name. That's why I kept in the Angular brackets. Otherwise, it's not required. So once project is created, you can execute them using Python manage.py run server. So the web application is available with this command. So like this, you are going to work with both React as well as with the Django. And with the React.js, you have to use for styling purpose, okay, for CSS purpose, you have to use the Bootstrap. Okay, so with the front-end React.js, you are going to use Bootstrap. With the help of that, you can make better looking screens. Okay, so you have to use the Bootstrap for that purpose. That is also latest version. So how to install Bootstrap also show you here. This is for the okay, CMD. There is only one project here, CD, my first. And in this, I want to install now Bootstrap. For that purpose, npm install followed by here Bootstrap --save. Instead of saving locally, in the my first itself, there are certain modules, node modules, there we are going to install. Now Bootstrap is also available in that particular application. In the my first, even Bootstrap is available for styling purpose we use. Okay, so you create React application, you create Django application as well. In the Django application, we are going to use the connectivity to MySQL. Through the Django application, we are going to be, marshalling and unmarshalling data from the database. Similarly, we are going to call REST API calls from the Django application from the front end. That's going to be React.js. So React.js, then Django, and one more thing is like MySQL. To do this project, you require HTML. You have to know how to use HTML tags. Then similarly, JavaScript. One more thing is little idea about CSS. Okay, then you can start working with React.js for developing front-end part. And you have to know Python to use the Django. Okay, Django views you have in the views, mostly you write the Python functions. With the help of Python functions, either you can render HTML pages or you can be calling some other functions. So those functions can be interacting with the database part. So you should know the Python language. Also, you have to know about MySQL connector, how to connect with the database. Okay, whenever you work with Django, either you can use here, like you can use MySQL raw commands, SQL raw commands you can use, or you can go with the ORM. ORM stands for Object Relational Mapping. ORM is nothing but Object Relational Mapping. Normally, whenever you work with either with Java or with C# or even Python, in the memory, you manage data in the form of the objects. You create a class, using class, you instantiate, then you get an object. Okay, whatever data you have in the object, normally you need to either you save in the database or you retrieve from database and you populate the object. Okay, so here manually you need to write code, then using SQL, you do all those things. Instead of that, you can avoid totally SQL part. You can go with the ORM. ORM stands for Object Relational Mapping. If you have experience with the .NET or with the Go language or with the Java, you might have used it. In the Java, you use Hibernate. When you work with the .NET, you may use in such cases Entity Framework. Okay, when you work with Go language, you may use GORM. With the help of that you do. So here we use the inbuilt Django ORM. With the help of that, we can do. But for admin purpose, in this application, you have client as well as admin. So for admin purpose, we use the ORM. And for client purpose, we use the plain SQL queries. They are not going to be inline SQL queries again. We are going to use here stored functions or stored procedures as per the requirement. Okay, because stored functions and stored procedures are safe when compared with the SQL queries, plain SQL queries. So when you use plain SQL queries, there is a possibility of actually injecting some kind of SQL. So SQL injection we call, it's a threat for the security. So it is vulnerable to certain threats. So therefore we avoid using the plain SQL queries. Instead of that, we use actually the stored procedures from the MySQL. So for that purpose, you need to develop even stored procedures in the MySQL. First, you need to create tables, then you need to create the MySQL. Okay, then I asked Sitaram to explain about the database structure, how it should be made. Sitaram, can you take over and discuss about the database structure?
Yeah.
And stopping this. So just explain. So what tables are required? Okay. Then they can go ahead with that.
I'm okay. One second, guys. I'm opening it. Yeah. So as informed in the initial session or the kickoff session, we are planning to have these particular features to start with in the application, and this we are not a final name, but what we are thinking, it is something like a project talent check is a function program which we're going to have. And in this, so far, okay, we just identified as a draft version, as we are going to have these features because we are going to have a register functionality, we are going to have login, okay, admin features, and then it is going to be something like the page displaying questions, and then it is statistics. But for now, for this particular week or like in the next 2 to 3 days, right? So we just want to concentrate on the register. This is a heavy lifting that is required for register, as well as we are going to have something like this question and tracking answers. These are the two heavy lifting modules which we are having. At the same time, it doesn't mean that the other modules do not have that much of a functionality. It all goes as a package. It cannot be like isolated, okay, or they cannot go in silos. But to start with this, to development and coding part, we think, okay, may be wrong, but we think it is the heavy lifting we are going to have for this. And for this, we do have this documentation, and then I will be giving the detailed specification about each and every module which we will be working. So we just start with the register functionality to here. And in the register, we are going to have this particular feature, okay, like this particular process form, okay, is it just model which we have, okay, that we will be working on to make sure, okay, we have much finer version of this one or much clear version of this one we will be having. And coming to the functionality for this database functionality, so these are the tables which we right now identified, okay. So, and irrespective of what table we are going to have, we always have something called as a creation date, okay, like, or it could be creation date or created date, okay, so that we should have some sort of tracking at the level so that we can just try to see when exactly this entry was created. So for this particular process, we have this, okay, just to give little idea about this one. So we are going to have list of skills available. Okay, available means from there the users can choose, and then they can just get these skills selected and then pasted to the right side. Okay, like you need not specifically do that, but by using these buttons, right? So you can just press the shuttle. Usually it's called the shuttle here. So this functionality which we can have, like if you just click one, whatever is selected on the left, that will be so that will go to the right, and then it will be the selected like this. Okay, we have this is only during the creation process so far we defined. Okay, it's not like modification will be different. At this point I may have 3 skills, but later after a month I come back and then want to add 2 more. Okay, that feature is not here, that we are going to have in the enhanced functionality we will be having. Okay, my profile functionality. But for now, these are the table structures we are going to have. So we will be talking about this, but this first table, and then it is a user profiles table, and then user skill details table. Okay, these are the 3 tables which we are going to have for this particular module at this time. Okay, so this register functionality, we are going to have these features. Okay, and at the same time, we're going to have all the database constraints and those technicalities will be there. But this is at a very high level. We are going to have these particular tables defined. Okay, if you have any question about this, okay, you please raise your voice, okay? So we can just try to discuss that. So, okay, is it done, Sri, or you have to talk something more?
Yes, so now who is interested in, in front end and in the back end database? So you need to, make like groups. Pooja is saying that she works on front end. I think you have seen the message. Hello?
Yeah, so I think if you are not decided or like you can work on, and also we can always use the group for communication purposes. Okay, we can just always use that, and then we can try to, and we will be coming up with a schedule. Okay, now I think tomorrow or day after we'll be sending a message for the about the schedule, and please confirm and take it as serious, I would say. Okay, so take it as